My name's Alex Innes. I'm one of the designers from the Rolls-Royce Motor Cars design team. More specifically, I'm involved in the Bespoke program, which in essence is the tailoring of our cars for individual customers. It's something we proudly feel is almost totally unique to Rolls-Royce. And to illustrate this, I've brought along with me a couple of examples here that I can now talk you through. So veneer is, or rather wood in the first instance, is something that has a long-standing tie to Rolls-Royce. There's a wonderful synergy with it, and we leverage it quite heavily and especially lean on the artisanal intellect that we have in the home of Rolls-Royce back in Goodwood to produce these fabulous individual pieces. So these couple of examples here illustrate our competence with veneer and with wood. More specifically, this marquetry, which, just to give you an idea of the scale, these are all individual elements of veneer that are pressure treated and then laser cut and inlaid by hand. And even down to the detail of this gradient effect that you see here, this what creates this depth of field. Now this is a process called sand shading, which is a couple of 100 years old, and it's literally hot sands and then rubbing these individual elements through the sand by hand to create this scorching that then when lacquered it creates this fantastic depth of field to the overall graphic. Another core competence that we have at Rolls-Royce is working with leather. Leather has a long-standing synergy with the brand, and what we're able to offer to some customers is personalisation on the headrests. And this particularly individual piece that you see here, where a customer had a strong affiliation with falconry. What we were able to do for this individual customer is capture his specific falcon and then digitize that to create a graphic and then have the artisans in our leather shop back in Goodwood stitch it into the headrest. So a very, very personal, very individual request. So to give you an example of just what's possible by way of Bespoke, and especially dealing with veneers, I can give you an example of a customer we had a number of years ago who was able to fell a tree in his own estate and then provide us with the trunk, and we were then able to produce the veneer from that trunk, then place it in his car. So very, very individual, very specific request, but it had a particular provenance and tie to that individual. So the manufacturing of the veneer in the car, or rather the door capping in this instance, can be broken down into a number of different processes. So we start with the base of the part, which is made up of a laminate of tulip wood. So the whole structural integrity of this part is provided by wood. We then have a number of different aluminium layers that go into that to strengthen the part and help it perform in crash testing. And we then have this lovely bit of bespoke detailing here, this bespoke cross banding. And we then have the first layer of seal that goes on. The part is then lacquered. The lacquering is then flatted back to create this wonderful smooth finish, and then it's highly polished.